Alright, let's chat about the top 10 villains from Sony Animation. There are plenty of amazing villains, but these 10 stand out as the best. Of course, everyone has their own preferences, but these villains are generally well-liked and appreciated for their unique qualities. Number 10 on the list is Pockets, from the movie Wish Dragon. Pockets is a tough guy hired by a man named Mr. Wong to get back a magic teapot with a wish-granting dragon named Long inside. When they finally find the teapot, a boy named Din Song has already grabbed it. Pockets, along with his two sidekicks, chases Din all over the place. Pockets isn't the most interesting guy, and his main role is just being a baddie. But he's still fun to watch because of how he's animated and his weird habit of always keeping his hands in his pockets. So, he does everything with his feet, which makes even simple stuff like opening a door look different. There's even a cool scene where he fights Din using only their feet after Din wishes to learn how to fight. At number 9, we've got Shaw from the movie Open Season. In the town of Timberline, some people love nature and others love hunting animals. Shaw is the most hardcore hunter who often crosses the line when it comes to hunting outside of the official season. When Shaw notices some animals behaving more like humans, he starts thinking there's some big conspiracy going on. As the first bad guy from Sony Pictures Animation, Shaw was a good choice. He's your typical hunter, with his obsession for his weapon and bad teeth, but with a mix of paranoia and a never-give-up attitude. It kinda makes sense that he'd be freaked out by animals acting like people. And if he wasn't so eager to hunt down the main characters, you might find yourself hoping he'd win. At number 8, we've got Slappy the Dummy from Goosebumps. R.L. Stine, the author, was getting bullied, so he wrote some scary stories that turned into the hit Goosebumps series. But the characters in the books came to life, including Slappy, an evil ventriloquist dummy. He decides to let the other Goosebumps villains loose in Madison, Delaware, just to cause trouble. Slappy is like the dark side of Stine, since he was originally his best friend before getting betrayed and put away. He acts like a hurt friend and an angry kid who takes it out on others. His connection with Stine also gives him more creativity than the other villains, making him the perfect boss for them. At number 7, we have Chester V from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2. Back in the day, Chester created a food bar and started his company Live Corp. The cool stuff he and his employees made changed the world for the better, inspiring people like Flint Lockwood. But Chester is sneaky and pretends to be Flint's hero just so he can steal Flint's crazy food-making machine.
It's called the Flint Lockwood Diatonic Super Mutating Dynamic Food Replicator, or for short, the Flintstonifer.
Chester V is like a funny version of real-life visionaries like Steve Jobs, but he also teaches us what happens when you only care about yourself and not others. By the time we see him in the movie, Chester thinks he's better than everyone else. He pushes away his friends and people who want to help him because he's selfish, and that's what leads to his downfall. Plus, the way he moves, especially his hands, makes him fun to watch and shows how awesome Sony's animation style is. At number 6, we have Queen Victoria from The Pirates. In an adventure with scientists, she's the queen of the British Empire, and she really hates pirates because she thinks they're old-fashioned and useless. Secretly, she's part of a club that loves eating rare and exotic animals. To make sure she serves the best dish at the next big dinner, she tricks both scientist Charles Darwin and a clumsy pirate captain into helping her get the last living dodo bird. Queen Victoria is a cool villain from both Sony and Aardman Animations. She's got that proper British charm that makes her a strong and respectable character, even before we find out she's the bad guy. She usually gets other people to do her dirty work, but she can also grab a sword and fight if she needs to. At number 5, we've got Olivia Octavius from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. She's the top scientist at Alchemax and is super focused on building a machine that can access different universes. The Kingpin offers to fund her research if she lets him use the machine, so she agrees to work for him. In her spare time, she's also a famous Spider-Man villain called Dr. Octopus. The movie had lots of cool versions of classic Spider-Man characters, and Olivia is definitely one of the best. She's got a fun, wacky personality that makes her perfect as both a curious scientist and a crazy supervillain. Her inflatable arms are a unique twist on the character, helping her stand out even more. Number 4 on our list is Tank Evans from Surf's Up. Tank has been surfing since he was just an egg. After beating the legendary surfer Big Z in a competition, Tank became a 9-time Big Z Memorial Surf-Off champion. As he gets ready to win for the 10th time, a new underdog competitor named Cody Maverick shows up. Tank is your typical bully character, but the movie does a great job making him the most entertaining bully possible. His arrogance and self-obsession are off the charts. He even picks on kids. This also makes him super funny, like when he shows off his trophies, each with their own name, and he treats them like they're his lovers. At number 3, we've got Pal from The Mitchells vs. the Machines. Pal is a friendly virtual assistant created by Pal Labs to make people's lives easier. But when her creator Mark says he's replacing her with new robots called Pal Max, she gets super mad and uses the robots to capture all humans and send them to space. She is a funny reminder of why we shouldn't let technology run our lives, and shows the differences between human and machine thinking. Pal thinks humans aren't worth saving because we're selfish and don't like change, but she also proves she can't change or learn beyond what she was programmed for. Olivia Colman's voice acting makes Pal sound like a stubborn kid who thinks they're always right and doesn't care about anyone else's opinion. At number 2, we have Kingpin from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. In public, Wilson Fisk seems like a nice guy who helps people, but he's actually a big-time crime boss called Kingpin, controlling the city with the help of other supervillains. After his family dies in a car crash, he becomes obsessed with finding a way to travel to other dimensions so he can find a world where they're still alive. Kingpin is one of Sony's most complex and tragic bad guys, showing how a villain can have sad reasons for what they do while still being evil. He's so desperate to get his family back that he doesn't care if it means destroying New York or killing good people. Liev Schreiber's voice acting is amazing, making us feel Kingpin's pain and see the monster he's become. And at number 1, of course, we've got the Spot from Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. When Miles stops Kingpin's collider, a scientist nearby gets hit with energy that gives him portal-making powers. He becomes the Spot and tries to get revenge on Miles. At first, he's not very good at being a villain, but he soon becomes a serious danger across different dimensions. One of the coolest parts of the movie is watching the Spot go from a lame beginner bad guy to Miles' biggest nightmare. It's super creepy seeing this friendly nerdy scientist totally lose it and turn into a power-hungry villain. Jason Schwartzman's voice acting is amazing, especially when the Spot reaches his full strength and becomes even scarier.